to Shine with Marilena Cortez and Mark Sedgwick. We are here at TriFitness sharing our life today at an amazing venue that's going to hopefully inspire you to find your passion and discover your purpose in life.
That's right. And I have my amazing friend Jake here. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
On the Shine podcast, ready to share our light. He's got an amazing story. And so we wanted to highlight him and tell you guys a little bit about what he does so that maybe you guys can end up coming here and visiting this amazing place. So first off, what's this place and why are you here and why'd you make it?
So TriFitness Gym is really just a location of growth. It's an opportunity for you to understand what you're capable of. We do a lot of the typical things that a gym does, but it's so much more. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that people come through the door a little bit different than what you experience. We work with people who have a higher need, have a little bit more possible limitations, have things going on in their lives that they need to help and that they need to improve upon. And we really just want to make sure that you feel comfortable. We want to make sure that you feel welcome. We want to make sure that you feel a part of what's going on. So
Right.
For us, TriFitness is a place of growth, a place of acceptance, a place of love, a place of healing, a place of getting to know what you can and cannot do and how to improve upon those things.
Yeah, and it's an amazing gym, and it's been an absolute blessing. When I worked here a couple years back, I worked here for about a year, and he was my mentor, and I was shadowing him for many years, or not many years, for a whole year. And I learned so much from all the other people who also work here, Jake and Matt, and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the businessman.
It's all good,
John, oh my gosh. And all their amazing wives that I've met and learned a lot from also. It's been so cool and just so totally uplifting in so many ways and has taken my life to another whole trajectory. And that's just what you guys do. Y'all change people's lives. Y'all don't only get them right body-wise, physically, but you also get them right mentally. And that's just the total difference. The whole package is what this place represents. The whole package to change someone's life.
Yes, that's right. And I personally want to thank you as a mother, because we worry so much about our kids and who are they going to meet and who's God going to put in their path. And I was so grateful and so thankful when I started hearing from Mark that he met this amazing group of people at TriFitness, and it gave me like a relief. So I always tell kids and parents, watch who your kids are talking to, watch who they're meeting, give them great advice. But it's just so refreshing when they meet someone like you guys who are entrepreneurs, who are so focused on your passion that you turn it into a business. So I want to know a little bit about, so people out there can learn, what inspired you to discover, first of all, your passion and then eventually your purpose here?
Yeah, so exercise for me in a lot of ways it saved my life. And so growing up, had a lot of different challenges, had a lot of different obstacles that I had to overcome. And fitness was one of the big things for me that allowed me to feel in control. It gave me an opportunity to do something every day that was good for me. Nobody could take that from me. It was something I could own. So that compounded my self-confidence, compounded my belief in being able to do more for others. It compounded my strength. It compounded my physical appearance. So I just continued to have positive after positive grow in my own life. And this was between the ages of 12 and 20 when I first joined the United States Coast Guard to serve, and it just continuously has been something for me that allowed me to make a difference in other people's lives, and that was a huge choice. I left active duty after 13 and a half years in 2017 when I finally left. But
well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I didn't know that little fact. That's
yes.
Awesome.
So I'm at 18 and a half years now. I left and went to the reserve, so I still serve, and that's a big part of my service as well. It's a big part of my goal to give back. That's the reason I joined the Coast Guard, to kind of go back to that a little bit, was because I knew I could save lives. I knew that was who I was. I didn't know if I could take them. And so that's why I chose that service over other branches of the military.
Right.
And getting a little bit further down the line, whenever this place kind of came about in my mind, it was around 2012, 2011, and I was at a point in the Coast Guard where I had found myself not being as fulfilled, not being as complete with the work I was doing. And that was it was a pretty big obstacle for me overall, because I had to understand that there was more service to be done. And I was serving my country, and to actually believe there was something higher than that, it was hard for me to actually accept that.
Right.
And that was a big deal of why TriFitness came about, was because I had gotten enlisted person of the year in my unit in 2013, and I had felt like I was supposed to feel fulfilled and supposed to feel content and happy with everything around me, but I didn't. And that was a big obstacle for me to have to digest and understand and then fully move forward with what TriFitness is today. And that's when the journey started.
I love that you were paying attention to beyond just our basic job. You know, sometimes we just are so busy and so focused on our jobs, and we think, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and we just stay there content or complacent. But the moment you start feeling the little itch of, okay, there's more out there, I want to help more, that's when we start, I think, discovering our talent. And you found yours. You knew that you were gifted in inspiring people and motivating people to stay healthy.
Right.
And you did it through the sport of the, you know, your business now that is TriFitness. So I love it. And
Absolutely.
I wanted to know, was there somebody that inspired you when you were in serving our country, or someone at home, or somebody that you were just like, oh, they inspire me to do this?
Growing up
Did
or anything?
something happen that you were like, wow, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, a lot of it, honestly, for me, is faith-driven. And I saw a lot of people around me not being able to find their way, not being able to find their path, not being able to be content. And so I just continuously knew that I had to do something else. I knew I had to do something more because I didn't fit in a lot of the circles that I was in. And that was, again, another obstacle because it wasn't an ego-driven thing. I didn't feel like I was superior to anyone. I didn't feel like it was a situation where I was going to go do something greater or more amazing than they were. It just wasn't my tribe, more or less. So growing up, for me, a lot of it had to do with trying to discover for me what I could and could not do. It would be hard for me to say just one single person that I really looked up to, that I followed.
Yeah.
Once I joined the service, there were some leaders ahead of me that definitely allowed me to believe in myself. My first captain ship that I got stationed on, I actually got in a lot of trouble my first year in the Coast Guard because my energy in a bad place is not a good thing. I outwork everybody, and the thing is, when I outwork everybody in a good way, I outwork everybody in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I had been doing since I was, off and on, going through high school and going through some rough patches. And there was an operation where I had to help recover some people, and some people perished as well. It was just a very dynamic and challenging situation as a rescue swimmer on the ship. And this captain wrote a letter to my mom, unknowingly on my part. I didn't know he had done it. And I had gone home on leave, taken leave from the ship, and gone home to visit my family. And my dad had that letter basically put in a frame and had it on the wall in my mom's house. And that was a big moment in my life because at that point in time, I'd done so many things where I felt like a failure. It allowed me to know that I could do something good and I could actually give back to this world in a very deep and a very impactful way, because that was a very challenging operation to kind of go through and be able to get to that point. So that individual writing that letter, taking the time out of his day, just using words, just like we are right now, those words can impact you a lot deeper than you realize.
That's right. Discovering the power of words is like so healing for me. Once you discover the power of praying and the power of words, it can really heal our heart, heal our mind, our soul. But I also want to applaud your parents because they did something special. They actually hung that letter, and a lot of times people don't understand the power we have as parents, that every little thing we're doing is really impacting and molding our kids. And that was brilliant that they did that, because then now they're putting it in front of you instead of putting it in a drawer or just filing it in a little album or whatever. But that was huge, and that I applaud them for doing that, because you probably got awakened a little bit like, wow, this is something.
It was a big deal.
And that reminds me of when my mom wrote me a poem as a baby. It was called My Little Son. And she hung it up and she framed it on like a plaque, right?
Yes.
It was on
Actually,
a plaque.
it was part of a contest,
That's
poetry.com, and I won. I was a finalist, and so once you win, they give you the opportunity to frame it. So I framed it.
Right. And so like out the gate, I was born and I had this poem in front of me, and I was looking at it and the thoughts that my mom had of me even before I was born. And I'm like, growing up, seeing this day after day, once in a while, I look at it and read it again over the years, and I'm like, wow. I'm loved, I feel special, I feel capable. I gotta look up to this woman, and I have been doing that ever since. And even through the hardships and the times that we trip and fall, I always look up. That was our topic of our last podcast, looking up, not only at my Father in heaven, but also at the people who have come before me, who have shown me love and shown me that I can be better.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
that's
right.
really just been so great in my life.
So Jake was so lucky also to have amazing parents who were there for you, and supported you,
Definitely.
highlighted your gifts, because then immediately they're paying attention to a gift that someone else is discovering in you and that you didn't even notice.
Yeah, so what did that letter say, by the way?
It described the situation, and one, I have a picture of it on my phone actually, but it described the situation of, so it was we were chasing it was actually a Cuban illegal immigrants that were being smuggled, and there were probably 30 to 40 people, I can't remember exactly
Wow.
the amount, trying to get across because of wet foot, dry foot. There's a whole story I could tell about that, because Cuba was communist, basically.
Yep.
As soon as you made landfall in the U.S., you were given asylum. So there was a big
Right.
deal, especially in the 80s and 90s, with a lot of people trying to come across. But in the 2000s, it was more of a smuggling type situation where they were actually trying to make money off these people. They would take their entire inheritance, everything they had, and they would just bring them off, and half the time they wouldn't make it. People would die left and right. So this chase happened, the vessel flipped over, and I was a rescue swimmer on the ship, so had to help recover a lot of people, and then we had a young child pass. And so that letter basically stated, you've probably heard by now from your son, but my parents had not heard. I didn't talk about it a whole lot, especially back then. Talk about it a lot more now, but of the situation that occurred in the Straits of Florida during this time frame, and basically stated that he was proud to serve with me alongside me as a Dawn sailor, and this was the captain of the vessel. So I mean, he was 22 years in, probably somewhere around there, and I was maybe 2 years in, and so that I think that gives you those little bumps of people believing in you and seeing your capability, and so.
Yeah, that's love
I
right
knew
there.
it was something important for a parent to hang it on the wall. It had to be something big. I didn't want to ask you.
Unfortunately,
sharing.
my mom's passed at this point, and it's in my house now. In my room. So.
And today we're talking about finding purpose, and I want to read this quote, but before I do, it's about serving others. And this quote, Jake elaborates on it in his Facebook post he just posted. But it's about serving others and finding ways to highlight each other and celebrate each other, and to find the good even in the hardships, and to find the love and the light in the dark situations. And so that's super important. Let me go ahead and read this post by Jake. Jake, can you tell us your Facebook name so they can find you?
It's Jake TRIONE Fitness Professional. That's where.
Yeah. And so he wrote, how much more will it take to break through? This is a question we ask ourselves when things get tough. But what we should be asking is, how much more am I willing to give? That's a perspective shift right there. This life is going to continue giving you challenges to overcome and opportunities to seize. For me, the answer is easy. I'm going to give it all that I've got every day I wake up and walk this earth. By making this decision, you can make all subsequent decisions easier, because you must just continue to find a way no matter what you face. So you get up and keep chasing a better life and a better world no matter what. As a leader and influencer, you can give others life with your words, actions, and your energy. Or you could be a vampire sucking the life and energy out of others. That's a selfish way to live, isn't it?
Yes, it's beautiful words.
So dig deep and build the character, discipline, and skills to handle the opportunities and obstacles that are on their way today. And then I wrote a little comment that responsibility brings purpose in life. And you also said serving others brings purpose in life. So I guess the next question is, we'll start with my mom. What gives you purpose in life, Mom?
For me, it's just knowing that whatever I'm doing is gonna inspire the youth. That's always been my goal. Since they were little, I was like, I want to help the young kids shine their light. And little did I know that I was gonna become a mom. So for me, children have been my motor and my inspiration. And I think I'll be like that till I die, because that's just, they're the ones who inspire me to just become better. And what else can I do to guide them and help them and instruct them and to get to the next level? Because they got their parents. Some of them are lucky to have both. Some only have one, and some don't have any. But I want to be that person they can kind of go and ask the question and they'll be confident enough. So they are my fuel and my inspiration.
Yeah,
How about
That's
you?
huge.
yeah,
For me, I think everybody I come in contact with, that sounds kind of vague, but it's true. I try to share love everywhere I go, and one of the things I always say is you have to open your heart up. If you're not willing to open your heart up, you can never connect with somebody on a true level of love. You have to walk around with an open heart. But the sad part of that in a lot of ways is at the same time, that's where you get hurt. But the thing, like I said exactly in that statement, is I don't focus on that hurt. I focus on the love that I'm able to give. Whether that person receives it or not is their choice. So I think my clients, obviously, is an easy answer. I mean, working with you, Mark, every day I come in, how can I inspire more? How can I connect more? How can I share a little bit that maybe I've experienced that helps you to see the world in a better way? Or maybe not in a better way, maybe in a real way. You know, any way to open your eyes in reality, because I mean, I don't sugarcoat. You know that. Like, I'm telling you the truth, and when things are hard, things are hard. But the thing is, you have to be harder. You got to learn how to work. You got to learn how to stay dedicated. You got to learn how to stay committed.
right.
And discipline in what you do, discipline in your purpose. Without a purpose, you give up. Everybody gives up without a purpose.
Yeah.
My purpose is to make this world a place where everybody's accepted, a place where everybody can feel love, a place where everybody can take control of their lives in a way that's loving and supportive and guiding. I mean, caring, connecting, coaching is the way I coach my coaches. Right? Without doing that, we can't actually give somebody what they're truly deserving because they don't believe you. They don't trust you if you don't care for them and connect with them. Without trust, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal, is to try to connect in a way that builds trust amongst you, continue to show up for these people, shed the light on what you're doing. I think that's one of the good things great about you guys' podcast is that you are willing to shed the light, right? And when I first started my Facebook page and I first started sharing what I was sharing, I got a lot of flack from my friends and my family. Everybody's like, yeah, what are you talking about, this or that? But the fact that you're willing to do it, the fact that you're willing to say these things, as long as it's coming from a place of love, respect, and support, is going to change someone's life. And it has, I know 100%.
Yeah.
I get messages constantly
Yeah.
from people who are impacted by it. And I'm impacted by what I say is why I say it. I need it as much as everybody else does. So I just try to find a way to put it in a digestible sentence or in a digestible phrase or statement or whatever you want to say, and then use it. So I think trying to be better for myself and for the world allows me to impact people, I think, on a different level, and sharing it, because then I build the trust.
Yeah, trust is so important, man. And you know, that reminds me in a digestible way, right? Jesus came to sort of come and simplify the commandments, you know, simplify the message so that people can not only understand it, but it can be spread to the masses so everybody can receive being saved. Everybody can receive a new life, a new perspective, a new trajectory for their life, you know, a new mission, right? So, and then I also was thinking, caring, connecting, and coaching. Caring's the first word. I'm sure that's a strategic thing. So for those of us who are maybe stuck in the selfish mindset, fight or flight mindset, fear mindset of, man, I got to get mine. I got to figure this out. I got to get that paper. I got to get that money. I'm not worried about you, other people. You know, how can people get out of that mindset and start caring for others? You know, what was that? What did that look like in your life?
So I think a big thing that I'm blessed with is I'm very empathetic. I feel everything. And I did ever since I was a very young child. So when somebody else hurt, I hurt. Literally. And I felt it amongst everybody I went around. And that's why I think I'm such a capable coach, right? I'm able to connect in that way. So I think that, you know, in a lot of ways gave me somewhat of an advantage to be able to connect with those people in that way. And then I realized that the whole world doesn't operate that. So that was something that was a hard realization because I was getting hurt left and right. But I also understood that people couldn't love on that level. Just because I could doesn't mean that they could.
Right.
And that's a gift. Those are the things that are the gifts, right? And if you have the gift of you can rap, or you have the gift of you can write, or you have the gift of whatever it is, your job is to take that and then use that to make a difference in the world that leaves a positive outcome for everyone. And guess what? You will get yours at that point.
Right.
You will be lifted up amongst others. You will be lifted up in the community when you're helping other people feel different, see different, experience their lives in a different way. So that had a lot to do with it for me. And I, you know, like I said, I'm somewhat blessed in the fact that I've never been like driven for competition for myself, never been driven for trying to outdo somebody or prove something above someone else. I always wanted a tribe. I always wanted to bring people with me. I don't need to be in charge. I don't need to be on top. I just need to make sure that we're all in a place where I feel like we're all harmoniously going to where God is calling us to be and trying to fulfill that mission on our deepest level, on our most connected, mindful, and actually engaged in your life level. So to shorten that answer, I guess it would be make sure that what you're doing comes from a place that actually is going to allow you to enjoy it with those people you love to be in.
And I think being genuine is the key. You're being genuine. You're sharing that light through your compassion, being empathetic.
Gift, yeah.
And that is your gift. And there's people that have different gifts. That's why it's so important to go and dig deep within you and discover those gifts. And what is your passion? Again, we go back to passion. Your passion was, helping others. So then that led on to then creating your business that also continues to help people, to stay fit, to stay not just fit, but also a healthy mind. And one of the toughest things that I've encountered in my educational career and now lately in the SA, more PR and event coordinator, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of people with compassion. People are up kind of for themselves, and like Mark was saying, maybe they just want to get their paycheck or they want to get, win the raise, however you want to look at it.
Different priorities.
Different priorities. So I want to invite everyone to, discover your priorities, and also as you discover your priorities, you're going to discover those gifts and those talents that God gave you. When you are too stuck just in yourself, you're not going to grow. And I can see that you grew. You grew from the moment you've been
every day.
Every day. And every time I hear from Mark what you guys are doing is like, wow, they don't stop. They keep going and going, and the inspiration keeps moving forward. And I think that's what motivates people to keep going. That inspiration and the foundation.
When you care for people and you truly care for those people, you're going to try to lift them up, right?
Yes.
And as a leader, as an influencer, as somebody who sees themselves as wanting to do that, one of the things you have to do is give up me versus them in every attuned situation. You have to make sure that you're connected to that. And when somebody has that attitude of trying to get over on you, maybe let them in that way and say, okay, well, then that's okay. That's your choice. Value-based decisions are what matter to me, and you're not living by values that I believe in, so maybe this isn't going to work in that way. We can work together and get whatever job there is that needs to be done, but in the long run, you have to understand that don't try to go and change them or don't try to go and alter that whole process, because a lot of people never want to. Yeah. And if they can't understand where a value-based decision comes from, you won't understand their language. They don't speak their language. Like if you spoke Spanish to me, I wouldn't understand it. You speak love, compassion, and caring to them, they just don't understand it.
Yeah, and a lot of people have walls up because of maybe their upbringing, maybe their lack of experience with love. They don't even know what that really looks like, and when it comes, they feel awkward. They feel disconnected. They're like, I don't want to hug. I don't want to hear these positive words. I don't want you to coach me up. I just want to walk my road and be left alone. And if I fail, I fail. All right, leave me alone. But that's really closing a door, closing an opportunity for growth. And one of the biggest priorities that people should have is love. And a lot of us don't realize that because maybe we haven't experienced it. But once we start chipping down at those walls, those barriers, those fears of being hurt, then that's when we can start having better relationships with people and really get to the places where we can grow and we can work as a group and work as a team. And that's so important in life.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention your second word, which is connect. Connecting involves volunteering, right? Like sometimes you can be lost, you don't know where to go, but if you start volunteering, you're going to start connecting and you're going to start clicking with certain groups. So I always tell students, volunteer in different areas and discover which one is the one you're going to be connecting with, because that's important. So once you connect, then you're going to be inspired even more. That's one of the things I love that when Mark met you guys, that he felt connected. He felt a passion because he also believed in staying healthy and staying focused. And he was like, wow, Mom, they're amazing. They're doing this. I used to love seeing him come home with a big smile and full of energy and positivity. I was like, keep going.
That's what we need in this world.
Yeah, it would have never happened if he had never stopped here to check you guys out. So I really want to encourage people who may not find that passion yet. Go out there, volunteer in different areas, and you'll eventually connect with someone, and you'll find your passion, and you'll find your true purpose for life.
Yeah. And not only that, ask God for guidance. When I ran into this place, man, I prayed when I peeked in the door. Y'all were closed. I peeked in the window, and I was like, oh, this place looks pretty cool. And I was like, I'm going to come back. Because I was looking for a job. I was looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, share that with the listeners, because a lot of people may not know how you ended up here.
Yeah, so I was looking for an opportunity because I'm still in college. I'm finishing up now, but I was really early in college, and I was trying to find my purpose. I was trying to figure out what I was here on this earth to do. I had so much anxiety, and I was even going through a state of depression at the time, and I was just so uncertain. And then I said, God Almighty, what am I supposed to be doing? I was calling up old mentors, old coaches, my family, my old friends. I was saying, hey, how did you get to where you are today? And, that's kind of inspired the curiosity to even have this podcast and want to interview people who are being successful. And I was calling up all these places, trying to find an opportunity, trying to find a key, trying to find some insight into what I'm put here on this earth to do. And part of that journey was here. I came up to I live nearby, and I peeked through the window. I saw TriFitness. I'm like, I like fitness. I like exercising. I love sports. And so I come in, and I say, I'm going to call them back tomorrow. I'm going to call them tomorrow. This place looks cool. And so you guys, yeah, y'all were so welcoming. And I think that's another key, is to be welcoming to people. If someone comes up to you and wants to talk, don't close that door. Hey, I'm busy, or hey,
Well, that
welcome
comes with their caring, their caring,
Right.
connect, and coaching, because they were caring. They weren't rude. Yeah, I never
And
forget
the door's
it.
open. The door was
I never
open.
forget that smile you had in your face.
And we will never have the door closed, right? Even though, like the statement I made a second ago about certain people won't understand that language, that doesn't mean you stop. That doesn't mean you stop trying. We get a lot of people coming through our door who aren't ready for what we have to offer. They think, I'm just going to go to a gym, but it is truly more than that. It is an experience when you walk inside of the session. And people engage in a way that is uncanny, is not normal to what you see in a typical gym setting. So at first, some people are, a little timid, they're a little bit intimidated, and then all of a sudden, 3 months later, they're the most engaged people we have. We talk about how, wow, she's a totally different person now. When she first came in, she was like kind of grouchy, a little bit gruff, kind of aggressive with certain things.
The walls are up.
Right. And then all of a sudden, they're like the first one through the door. Hey, Jake, what's going on today? And I'm like, I was supposed to greet you. And we don't let anybody, that's one of my things. They shouldn't come past that front area and get to the turf without being greeted. That's one of my rules. As soon as that door opens, greet them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're with another client, yell their name out. It's a big deal, 100%, because that knows that, okay, I've been waiting on. They were waiting for me to get here.
What's up, Sally?
Exactly. And that's everybody, and we have a language. We literally have a T3 language, TriFitness terminology. And it's making sure that everybody understands how to communicate in a way that keeps us moving fluidly, that keeps us on the same team and culture, right? And if we did better in our society with actually building a culture of love and respect and where there is enough for all of us, which there truly is, instead of the you versus me mentality, we would all be on a better playing field.
Definitely.
And we'd all be on the playing field, because that's the thing. We should all be able to play. And that's a big deal for us, is to make sure that whoever walks through that door gets attention, gets time. They're going to be taught how to do things the best of their ability. And we're going to do it with love.
I love it. Well, I applaud for everything that you're doing. And thank you for inspiring my son. And here we are, how many years ago was this that you guys met?
I believe it was 2019 all the way to 2020.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So imagine, so here we are 3 years after you guys met and stuff. So
right at the beginning of the pandemic, I remember is when I had to go. Yeah.
So I think what's really important, and I admire you guys again, is your passion. I can tell, because my son came back with so much inspiration, and when you show them, or your clients or the people that come through your doors, that love and that care, it shows, and it feels almost like they take a little bit of that home.
100%. Right.
So that's what we want in the world. We love to have more love, more compassion, more care. And you guys are doing it here at TriFitness, so it's so beautiful.
I want to tell the story about me sort of leaving, at least the gist of it, and because sometimes in life we we arrive at an opportunity, we arrive at a door, and God opens that door, and we walk through it. If we have the boldness, the courage to walk through it, and to make a commitment. And then you walk through it, you do your best, and sometimes things will happen where you might feel certain that you have to go to somewhere else. So I'm describing me here at TriFitness. It was an amazing experience, and I learned so much that I still carry on today, and I will carry it for the rest of my life. And then I felt that I was called to go somewhere else in a lot of ways and to go on a different journey. And sometimes in life, I want to encourage the people who are watching that to realize that that is okay. That, you know, for me, I'm called to work with kids. I know that, like, I know that for a fact now, you know, and so that's what I'm doing now. I'm a teacher, and I want to be a presenter and a children's book author. And so that's what I'm marching towards now. That's what I feel called towards now. So sometimes you're just somewhere for a season, and you do your best to be a light, and then sometimes you're called somewhere else. So I want to encourage you guys to, if that's where you're at, then that's what you got to do. And my mom recently just changed. She's changing jobs right now. Just if you want to share a little bit on that, and what's coming up for you, Mom? What do you think?
Well, yeah, everything is temporary, unfortunately. Everything. You're right.
Even life.
In life, we are also here for a little short time, so we gotta make the best of it. And I was a teacher for 26 years. Then I started doing the PR and the journey as a PR coordinator, which I was also doing in the schools, doing events on the side. And then I'm also an educational sales consultant and trainer. But God has called me now to be a director at a church leading our youth. And so it's really an honor and a privilege that now God is pulling me to another section of that I love. So I work with little ones, and I get to work with middle school and high schoolers. And that's going to be a challenge and yet an honor and a beautiful experience that I know God wants me to continue this, because that's my true passion. And again, just like Mark said, you know, you're just there for a season, learning, getting prepared for the next chapter in your life. And so some people might, you know, open their business and stay there, but you don't know what's ahead or what's coming or what changes are going to be in your life. So we always have to be prepared for those changes, embrace them, and say, you know what, that last journey prepared me for this next season. So yes, we always have to have that mind, open mind, and just be ready. Be ready for what God is preparing us in each of the seasons.
Yeah, faith, right?
It.
Have faith for what's coming. I know it's so cloudy sometimes, what's coming tomorrow in your future, but that's part of having faith. And you got to think, all right, well, I've survived up until this moment, you know, and I have faith that something amazing, whether it's hard or easy, most likely, choose your hard though. It's going to be hard either way. So it's like, may as well have faith. May as well have a good attitude. May as well care for other people while I'm here on this journey, and get rid of that fear. Chop those chains down, you know, and ask the Heavenly Father to help you along the way.
Is there anything else you want to add before we leave? What advice would you give those young, maybe college students? I would say high schoolers and college students who sometimes, you know, they feel lost. They're in a career, in a path where they thought that's what they wanted to do, but then they're like, how do I use this for really to feel fulfilled? And that I really, truly I'm in the right path for the next chapter.
Yeah, so for me, especially when it comes to following your path, following your purpose, that's what I did. I walked away from a full-time job. I was 6.5 years away from full retirement. I would have had a paycheck for the rest of my life. I believe God called me to this. I followed what I truly wanted to do based off of the fact that I had tried so many other things. I'd given it my all. I think that's one thing. Are you giving it your all? Like, that's a question you have to ask yourself. If you've gone a certain path and it's just hard, I don't know if just being hard is a good enough prerequisite to walk away.
Right.
So it can't just be hard. So that's one thing, right? So don't just walk away when times get tough.
Yes.
Right? You get tough, and then if it still doesn't make you happy, okay, now that's another thing you can put in your pocket to say, I did my best, I worked hard, and if you're in a bad spot and people aren't nice and it's just not a good environment, I would walk away automatically.
Yes.
Right. I would just go to a different place.
Hallelujah to that.
It's just not, you know, that if that environment isn't conducive to being a godly environment and a place that you can live your values, then I would leave. And on top of that,
Oh,
though,
look at that,
It's just
Mom.
perfect.
Come on.
I love it.
but it's true, you know,
That's so
and it's
good.
because you can't make traction in that environment. That's not your world,
Yes.
right? And so you have to understand that, you know, and I think for a lot of, when I was, if I was younger, you know, Mark and everything, I said, the decision doesn't have to be made today. The decision for the rest of your life. And Mark leaving, that was okay. Like, you have to go do your thing, go do your thing. We've invited him back multiple times for events and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we talk, me and him play basketball. Like, I don't live that way. I live based off of the way that I believe I should. I put my head on the pillow at night and I'm satisfied with the person I am. So I think coming up with understanding who you are, coming up with understanding that, you know, your world doesn't have to be decided by the age of 20. I was 28 whenever I decided to walk away from the Coast Guard. I'd been in 8 years. I stayed in 13 and a half. So I didn't start this gym until I was, 35? Yeah, right around 35 years old. So when you find that path, be willing to do the work. That's the number one thing. Be willing to do the work. I went to work. I've been working 2 jobs since 2011. I was working 88 hours a week when I left active duty Coast Guard.
Wow.
So be willing to put in the effort. I was getting up at 4. I was going to train 2 people. I was working from 7 to 4:30, and I was going to train 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at night. But if you want something, you've got to be willing to work for it. But it's just like Mark said, you got to choose your heart. Life is going to be hard. It can be hard because you're poor and sick and you're living on your parents' couch. It can be hard because you're fighting, you've got 100 employees, and you're trying to build this business and go into a new market. It can be hard because you won't make a decision and now you're the same person you were when you were 20 years old and you're 55 and you're still telling high school stories. There's a lot of things that can make it hard.
Wow.
But I'd much rather live a life that's hard because I put in effort to build something that's foundationally impactful in the world. So find those things that are going to motivate you. Don't walk away when it gets hard if that's the only prerequisite. Go to an environment to where you can flourish, where you can feel strong and capable, but then also put your feet on the ground. Go to work. Every day show up for yourself. Every day show up for your life. Continue to go after it. Don't be complacent. When you have a down day, okay, get out and move forward that next day. So I think being young, there's a lot of things that you have to be able to overcome. There's so much influence right now. There's a lot of white noise in this world. So dig deep in your own heart. Follow your faith, whatever that is. Follow your guidance. Those people around you that you know are open and loving to you, ask them questions. You know, be open to learning. Be open to knowing that this person has 10 more years on you. If they've built a business, if they've gone through a lot of stuff, if they've served, in the military and they have all this knowledge, just ask them a million questions a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, if you're not in here working with me and not asking me questions, like that's how I got where I am, is to fight through so many things. I grew up in an Italian meat market in Delhi, and we had it for over 100 years in my family until we went bankrupt, but I learned so much in there and didn't even realize it. I was just in the environment.
Right.
So just be willing to learn, be willing to work hard. When times get tough, make sure that you're working as hard as you need to see whether or not you actually have it. And, if you don't, make sure that you're being, intelligent with your choices and being dedicated and passionate about your own faith-filled path and journey.
Absolutely. And remember to have the right priorities high on your list. Love, caring, connecting with others, and following the mission that you feel called, that your gifts will complement. And, the Bible says something along the lines of your gifts will put you in the presence of great people. And I totally believe that. I think that's what you got to focus on, your gifts. What is easy? What comes, here, this is a better way to say it. What puts me into the flow state, right? Into the state where time goes by fast. I was coaching today at a school, at a new school I've never coached at, and I was subbing as the head coach for elementary school, and the time flew by today faster than it has ever while I was subbing, because I was the head coach, and I was caring with the kid, I was connecting with them. Every single kid that walked in, I said, "Good morning, hey, good to see you, nice to meet you." I'm greeting them, I'm connecting with them as they're walking in, just like I learned here, and it's been so amazing, man. And another question I had for you is, we talked about you talked about clearing the white noise. You talked about being in the flow tank. That's one of your ways. Can you also tell us what that's like, and maybe some other ways of how people can clear the distractions of today's world?
Yeah. So he's talking about the flow tank. So you can go into where basically it's deprivation chamber, where it's all black, and you just literally are weightless. It's a magnesium-based solution where like basically your body can just float, you can relax. So for me, I think being able to balance out, especially as much energy as I'm required to give on a daily basis, people come in seeking that energy from you. You know it as a teacher,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You know it as a coach. You know it as from being here. Those kids want your energy, and you'll have 3 and 4, children in every class that you have that really need it,
Yeah.
right? And you just try to give as much as you possibly can. But if you don't learn how to build in those recovery tools, or you don't learn how to build in those ways to clear your head, clear your heart, clear your entire physical environment, you're going to break down. So for me, I'd work out obviously is a big one. Making sure my nutrition's on point.
Yep.
Those flow tanks are great if you can handle it. If you've got too much noise in your head or you got too much going on, you don't want to be in a dark place for an hour. And if you're claustrophobic, it's hard. But so there's a balance there. And at one point in my life, you would have told me I would be in there, I would have never believed you. I would have told you you're nuts. Like you can't get me to sit in there because I couldn't sit still. Right? My energy wasn't being used or directed in a direction. I didn't have control of my energy.
Yeah.
It was this hurricane that I was trying to fight with all day.
Yeah.
But now I at least guide my wind. I guide where I'm going. I'm in control of how my life is headed. But I have to sit back and really reflect. That's I have this thing called an RX3, reflect, refocus, recharge. And it's kind of my thing, TriFitness, carry, connected, coaching, all that. It's all 3.
Yeah.
But reflect, refocus, recharge is to say, this past week, I spent too much time on my phone. I didn't meditate. I worked out 5 times, but I just pushed through it. So it made me even more stressed. It wasn't something I truly enjoyed, right? So then that gives you the ability to say, okay, refocus. What do I need to do different? I need to go talk to my wife about needing a little bit of extra time in the morning to go do this for me so she understands that I'm not mad and need to take off earlier, waking up, that type of thing. And then you can refocus and get yourself back on that path of saying, okay, now I got my energy. Now I can catch my breath.
I love it. I made a shirt, mine said rethink, I cannot.
Reuse, recycle? No, I'm just kidding.
No, the 4, remember I did it when I did the neglected by 2 countries?
Oh, yeah.
And at the end it was reflect, reform, and something else. I cannot remember, but
Yeah, I
you
remember
reminded
that.
me of
Great
that.
minds think alike.
Yeah, and it really shifted my thinking because you have to reform. You have to. You cannot stay stagnant, be
Evolve,
the same
yeah.
person you were in high school, the same person that you were in college.
Well, you're not gonna be.
No, but you're not
Yeah.
supposed to. But there's people that stay stuck
Yeah.
in those times, and then they're constantly either talking about it or their past. I just posted something on my Facebook about letting the past go, right? Embracing be present, be there for the people, for your present that on the day that you're living, but also dream big and focus on a happier, joyful future, because I think it's all connected. But because if you only
100%.
stay in the past, then you're never gonna flourish.
Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Today is the
Yes.
only thing you can control. And so for me, you can't carry that book bag. It's going to get too heavy for you, right? So if you're carrying everything from the past, you want a new life, you can't have it. The book bag's already full.
That's
You got to
right.
set it down, take out the junk, throw it off, process it. Okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm putting my new knowledge. Now I'm putting my new job. Now I'm putting my new house. And then I can move forward with my path. And I think that's a big thing that people don't understand is you're changing every day, whether you accept it or not, right? But if you're not using your time to create a world or a life that you would love to live, you're going to be living that same life that you are unsatisfied with and trying to escape like most society is every day. And then you become a detriment to those around you in a lot of ways. That's where a lot of society is. I think that's why we have part of the reason we have a lot of anger. We have a lot of lack of connecting in our society, and people just close their door now and don't talk to their neighbors. It's because they don't even like who they are. So why would they want to go share that with somebody?
Right.
Yes.
You don't want to go share
Yeah.
somebody you don't like.
I love it. I love it. It's touching my heart, and I just can't thank you enough for being part of my son's life. And thank you for allowing us to come and interview you today.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
It's really been an honor, and I just want to end by saying something. In life, we're going to meet a lot of people. We get to choose who we keep, what friends, what people that are crossing our paths. And I really want to encourage people to choose their friends wisely. And if you don't have good friends, go and knock on the door like Mark did and discover new friends, new mentors that can fill your heart and your life with positive opportunities.
Yeah.
Never give up and continue to shine your beautiful light. And God will put those friends in the path, in your path. and in order for you to flourish and grow and be happy and find your true purpose in life. So
Yeah.
until next time.
Well, I want to ask Jake, what's next for TriFitness to wrap things up?
So we're looking for location number 2 right now, looking to grow what we're doing. We're kind of almost at capacity here at our current location, so we have to start to find that next journey, find that next place. For me, there's a lot that involves, but again, it comes back to that change. I have to become more of a person. I have to be able to use my energy in a better way and try to expand what I'm offering. For my clients, for my coaches, for the new owner, if we have a franchise, whatever it ends up being. But we're kind of looking locally, maybe Friendswood area, possibly for location number 2. Kind of see how it goes and just continuing to put one foot in front of the other until then and keep changing lives.
Well, keep moving forward. You're doing an amazing job, and may God continue to share, allow you to continue to share your life, not just for the people that come here, but all the other people that still need to meet you and get inspired and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Be bold, take risks, share your light, stay happy, stay healthy. Peace. That's his outro, but we're not going to say bye yet. I want to welcome you guys to come check out TriFitness. Come check out this amazing place. Do you guys still have that free first day trial?
Always.
Trial?
Yeah.
Always. So come check out a free 1 day, and I know you're going to love it. I just want to say thank you so much, Jake, for being on our show, man. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so y'all come check it out. God be with you. Take care.
Lift your spirit up and shine, shine.
Do this. Share the light. We're going to say a prayer. We started doing that.
Yes,
We're
please.
saying a prayer before the podcast starts.
Yeah.
Wow, guys. Dear head. Oh, actually, Jake, please do the arms. Okay.
Dear Lord, thanks for giving us this opportunity to share our love, share our light, continue to try to impact those people that we come in contact with every day, continue to help us to actually cultivate the energy we need, continue to follow the path that you're putting in front of us, and continue to try to make a difference in our lives so we can spread that light and continue to push forward. Thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you for Mark and Marie for coming and being willing to share the message of TriFitness and what we're doing here. We ask these things here, so there's in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.